you can see that Ivy was just invited to place her nose on that blue and white target there. This gives our trainers a great opportunity to see their snout, and they can take a closer look at their eyes and their teeth. Again, our otters are participating in their own medical care, something that is truly amazing and take months of training between both our trainers and our sea otters. If you take a look at the left-hand side of the exhibit, you can see that Ruby just offered up her paw there to her trainer, giving our trainer a great chance to, again, see that paw, make sure it is as healthy as can be. And on the left-hand side on the deck there, Selka is showing off her amazing strength and balance. Pretty impressive stuff. Now, if you're taking a look at Selka there, you can also see that she has a really dense fur coat. Sea otters have the densest fur coat in the entire animal kingdom, with 1 million hairs per square inch. And this is important. It is part of what's keeping them warm out there in the cool waters of Monterey Bay. And this dense fur coat is a really important part of their story, because in the 17th and 1800s, these animals were targets of the fur trade. In fact, by the 1920s, there were only 50 sea otters left. Luckily, thanks to the resiliency of these animals and protections put in place by people, today there are now around 3,000 southern sea otters along California's coastline, which really is an amazing recovery. If you're taking a look back there in the center of the exhibit, you can see that our trainers get a chance to take a look at Ruby's abdomen and at her flippers. Again, doing this quick health checkup. Pretty amazing stuff. Now on the left-hand side of the exhibit, you can see that Ruby there is hanging out in the sea otter spa. It's quite adorable to see our otters hanging out in there. Now earlier I was talking a little bit about what the menu is today for our sea otters. Our sea otters are fed a real tasty seafood medley. They get squid, shrimp, and clam. And for those of you who maybe know a little something about sea otters, you might know that they are excellent tool users. They're really good at using rocks to break open hard-shelled animals like sea urchins or crabs. So you might wonder why they're not getting those hard-shelled animals when they're on exhibit. And folks, the reason for that is we learned the hard way that when our otters get those hard-shelled animals on exhibit, their favorite tool to use are those lovely acrylic windows in front of you. This really does scratch up the glass, and it makes it hard for us to see our otters, so instead they get those hard-shelled animals behind the scenes. Now I'd love to tell you a little bit more about the sea otters that we have on exhibit. All 3 of these otters are females, and they were deemed non-releasable by U.S. Fish and Wildlife for various reasons related to their behavior or their health. So they are here with us full time, and they are such an important part of our community here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. They are ambassadors for their species, helping you and me learn a little something new about sea otters every single day. In addition, here at the aquarium, we have a program called the Sea Otter Surrogacy Program. And through this, otter pups that have been abandoned or stranded out in the wild can be brought right here to the aquarium and paired with one of our female otters, who will then adopt that pup and act as their surrogate mother. So they will teach that pup all the skills they need so that they can thrive in the wild. And once the pups have those skills, they are returned to the wild waters of Monterey Bay, where they help contribute to the population levels of sea otters along California's central coastline. Truly amazing work that is taking place right here. Now, some of you might have noticed that we have 3 scheduled feeding sessions for our otters and even more unscheduled. And this is because sea otters have to eat around 25% of their body weight every single day. So for our otters on exhibit, that's around 9 pounds of food for each otter every single day. The average human eats around 3 to 5. So folks, these animals really do eat a lot of food. Now, I'd really love to tell you all a little bit more about Ruby's story. Ruby right now looks like she is hanging out on the deck of the exhibit. Ruby was found stranded on a beach near Monterey, California in 2015 when she was just a 1-day-old pup. Members of the Sea Otter care team bottle fed her and groomed her for around 9 weeks before she was introduced to an adult female otter named Gidget. Gidget was one of our exhibit otters at the time, and Gidget taught Ruby all the skills she needed to know to thrive out in the wild. So Gidget taught Ruby how to dive, how to groom that dense fur coat, and how to break open hard-shelled animals like sea urchins and crabs. Once Ruby had all the skills that she needed, she was released to Elkhorn Slough, which is a wetland around 20 miles north of our aquarium. And as with every release, our Sea Otter care team carefully monitored her behavior and her health. And it was found over time that Ruby was exhibiting signs of stress and weight loss. So she was brought back here to the aquarium so that we could help her to recover. And after 4 subsequent releases, it was then deemed by U.S. Fish and Wildlife that it would be best for Ruby to be a non-releasable otter that would stay under professional care. And Ruby then went to the Aquarium of the Americas in New Orleans. And Ruby took with her a bright red ball from our aquarium. And members of the Aquarium of the Americas community in New Orleans voted to name Ruby after that bright red ball. So that's how she got that adorable name of Ruby. In July of 2022, Ruby came right back here to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. We are so very happy to have her as a part of our raft. And as the youngest and newest member of our raft, Ruby is still learning the ropes, but eventually she will also act as a surrogate mother to pups that have been abandoned or stranded out in the wild. Just like Ivy and Selka here. In fact, Ivy, remember, she's that blonde otter right there, blonde face, blonde-chest. Ivy has raised 9 pups here at the aquarium, and Selka, can't quite see her right now, but Selka has raised 6 pups here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. So these are pretty incredible otters that we're getting a chance to say hello to today. Now, one of the reasons why conservation efforts for this species is so incredibly important is because these animals are a threatened species, and they also serve a pretty important role in the kelp forest ecosystem as keystone species. Now, when I say keystone species, I just mean they are important for maintaining the balance of animals that live within the kelp forest. And this is because they are major predators of sea urchins. Sea urchins are those purple spiky ball-like animals. You might have seen some of our other exhibits here at the aquarium. And sea urchins really do love to graze on kelp. And if they become too abundant, they can eat so much kelp that they wipe out entire kelp forests, creating what is known as an urchin baron. Now, because sea otters do eat those sea urchins, they can help to maintain the balance of animals that live within the kelp forest. And this is part of what keeps that kelp forest ecosystem healthy. So by supporting sea otters, we're also helping to support the kelp forest, which is incredibly important because kelp forests provide food and shelter to a huge diversity of animals. Now, as you're taking a look at our otters here, you'll start to see them show off some of their grooming behavior. So they'll use their paws to really rub that fur coat. Their fur coat is also quite loose, gives them the ability to move that around so that they can get a better reach, make sure they are grooming every bit and part of it. It's really important that they have that healthy fur coat. Again, it's keeping them warm out here in the cool waters. And folks, the otters have to groom themselves for 3 to 5 hours every single day. Looks like they're on the right-hand side of the exhibit. You can watch one of our otters doing some rolls in the water there. Believe it or not, this is also part of that grooming behavior. Folks, if you want to learn more about the rescue and rehabilitation of sea otter pups that we do here at the aquarium, I encourage you all to head over to Luna, a sea otter story. We have one showing taking place at 11:30 right in our auditorium. And at 2 o'clock, we'll be offering a bilingual Spanish-English blended Luna program for you to check out in the auditorium right at 2 o'clock. All right, thank you so very much, folks, for coming to the feeding program. I'm going to head down to the upper level of the sea otter exhibit so that I can help answer any questions you might have about sea otters. And folks, I hope you have an utterly great rest of your day here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium.
Oh, look, it's going coming. Is it going to come out of the water? How many otters in the Oh, there goes one. There's an otter. I think they are. There are only 2? There are only 2 otters? There's 3 otters? Yeah, I think I counted. I think 2.
I think there is 3. There's one probably swimming inside on the bottom. Oh look, they're up here now. Look. There's 2 over here, and I think there's 1 over there.
Okay,
Sandy and Mocha.
我也想。
Oh, there's one all the way down there.
我们把那个客厅可以改造成一个水族馆。
It's going all swirly. Already?
把这浴缸改成浴缸算了。
Oh no, where did they go? Yeah, so
Sim.
Branco, né?
Olha como eles nadam. Gente, eles nadam esse tempo inteiro. Olha.
Gosto.
Que fofo.
走吧。